All right, so let's get right into it. We're going to talk about what seems like a completely crazy decision made by one of the most brilliant minds of our time. It's a story all about dropping out of college, trusting your gut, and believe it or not, how a totally random class ended up changing the world as we know it. Yeah, you heard that right. One of the best decisions I ever made. And when you hear Steve Jobs say that, you're probably thinking, what? Launching the iPhone? The Mac? Nope. He was talking about quitting, about walking away from the exact path everyone thought he was supposed to take. So that really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, how on earth could dropping out of college, this amazing, prestigious education that was basically his destiny from birth, how could that possibly be a good thing? Well, to get that, you really have to understand the insane amount of pressure he was feeling. All right, so here's the setup. We're talking about a 17-year-old Steve Jobs. After this whole lifetime of expectation, he finally makes it to college. This is supposed to be the big moment, right? But the whole dream starts falling apart almost immediately. And you have to understand the weight of this whole thing. He didn't just go to any old state school. Nope. He, kind of naively, picked Reed College, which was almost as expensive as Stanford. And the money? It wasn't coming from some student loan or a fancy scholarship. It was literally every single cent his working-class parents had managed to save their entire lives. Talk about pressure. So just 6 months in, reality just smacks him in the face. He's got no idea what he wants to do with his life. Absolutely no clue. And he's looking at this super expensive education and thinking, how is this helping me? All he could see was his parents' life savings just going up in smoke, and he felt completely lost. Now, to really get why the idea of dropping out was such a massive deal, we have to go back, way back. See, this wasn't just about him and his feelings. This was about a promise that was made before he was even born. Okay, so this story is pretty wild. His biological mother, she was a young, unwed grad student, and she had one non-negotiable rule. Her son had to be adopted by college graduates. So a lawyer and his wife were all lined up. Perfect, right? Except at the very last second, they changed their minds. They decided they wanted a girl. So boom, a phone call goes out in the middle of the night to the next couple on the list, and those were his future parents. But here's the catch. A huge one. When his biological mom found out that the new adoptive mother had never even graduated from college and the adoptive father hadn't even finished high school, she was not having it. She completely dug her heels in and refused to sign the final adoption papers. The whole thing was about to fall apart. The only way she finally agreed, the only reason the adoption actually happened, was because his new parents made her a solemn promise. They promised that their son would, without a doubt, go to college. And that one promise pretty much shaped the next 17 years of his life. Okay, so let's fast forward back to that college dorm room. He's 6 months in, and you can just imagine this internal battle, right? On one side, you've got the weight of this massive, lifelong promise, and on the other, you've got this gut feeling that he is totally, completely lost. He had a choice to make. And he made it. He decided to drop out, to break the one promise his entire life had been built on, and just trust that it would all work out. And look, he was totally open about this. It wasn't some brave, confident move. He said it was absolutely terrifying. He was stepping off the one clear path he'd ever had into, well, nothing, the complete unknown. So what did life look like after that? It was not glamorous, I can tell you that. No dorm room, so he's sleeping on the floor in his friends' rooms. He's literally returning Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits just so he could buy food. And get this, he would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday night just to get one good free meal a week at the local Hare Krishna temple. It sounds miserable, right? But here's the crazy part. He loved it. So what was so great about it? I mean, where's the upside to sleeping on floors and scrounging for food money? Well, this is where the story gets really interesting. This is where we get to the whole idea of connecting the dots. And it's all about the incredible power of just being curious. It was about freedom. Simple as that. The second he officially dropped out, he was free from all the required classes that he just didn't care about. He could finally stop going through the motions and just follow his gut. He could drop in on any class that looked even remotely interesting. And this freedom started this incredible chain reaction. So he drops out, he starts noticing these posters around campus for a calligraphy class. Turns out it was one of the best in the country. He thinks, why not? And decides to drop in. He learns all about serif and sans serif typefaces, about spacing, about what makes typography beautiful. Now, at the time, this had, let's be honest, zero practical value in his life. It was just cool and artistic. And then 10 years go by. He's in a room designing the very first Macintosh computer. And suddenly, it all comes flooding back. And that's the punchline, right? He said it himself. If he had never dropped in on that one single class in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And think about it. Since Windows pretty much just copied the Mac, it's very possible that no personal computer would have them. That one useless class, that one moment of curiosity, literally changed the face of modern computing. Wild. So, what's the lesson here for the rest of us? I mean, this story is bigger than just Steve Jobs or a calligraphy class, right? It's about something much deeper, a principle that really applies to every single one of us. And this is the absolute core of it all. You can't connect the dots looking forward. It's impossible. When he was that 18-year-old kid in a calligraphy class, there was no way he could have drawn a line from that to creating the Macintosh. But looking backwards, oh man, the line was as clear as day. It all made perfect sense. So what does that mean? It means you have to trust something. Trust your gut, trust destiny, life, karma, call it whatever you want. It's this fundamental belief that all the dots, all the random experiences and curiosities you're following right now will somehow connect in your future. And that is why this is so powerful, because having that trust is what gives you the confidence to actually follow your heart. It gives you the green light to go off the well-worn path, to explore something just because it fascinates you, even if it doesn't seem practical. And that, as he famously said, is what will make all the difference. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What about you? What are the dots in your own life? The detours, the random hobbies, the things you're curious about? What seemingly unconnected points might be waiting to form a picture that you just can't see yet?